Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce myself and my groups. There is me, Muhammad Arif Caksono, with 205-13126, and Safri Nova Ramadan with 205-13147, Aprilia Nurul Safri 3 with 205-13128, Danang Prekesit with 205-13166, and Muhammad Rafli Fauzi with 205-13152. Yeah, so we're talking about forest fires in Papua at Greenpeace. This case have been since 2001. Is because the impact of government system policies, and behind the South Korean Komindo company also. So let's go to the topic. Causes of forest fires in Papua. The fires that occurred in Papua were caused by the impact of government system policy and behind the South Korean Komindo company. Komindo Group in Papua carrying out forest fire in the province in a planned manner for oil palm plantations. However, the findings of Greenpeace were denied by Correndo Group. The industry reports that data that says the Correndo Group is burning forests in Papua for oil palm plantations is not true. Launching from the Greenpeace website, Correndo Industry has the most oil palm plantations in Papua and has destroyed nearly 50,000 and 57,000 hectares of forest in the province since 2001. Yes, forest fires in Papua in recent years have become increasingly worrying. In 2002 alone, much of Papua's forests have been lost significantly compared to previous years. To look more deeply into whether the fire was intentional or not with community activities or related to plantation expansion, Greenpeace International collaborate with forensic architecture. The Indonesian government gave forest areas to companies like Correndo and allowed them to operate with impunity. With the enactment of the Job Creation Law or the Omnibus Law, large companies can be more flexible in managing their land without strict penalties in discontinuous. Papuans indigenous people could lose their forests even more, and Indonesia lost forests of their less natural beauty. We need your voice to preserve Papua forests right now. Corindo's statement. Corindo's group denies the result of investigation conducted by Greenpeace with forensic architecture from the conclusion of its investigation, stating that from the accusations that Correndo intentionally and legally burned from this plantation area and untrue act, said the official statement from the Correndo Group received by CNN Indonesia. From the statement, the official has confirmed the truth with a written statement. The name of the Republic Relations Manager of Correndo Group, Julian Muhammad Riza. From FSC findings, it can be concluded that Correndo intentionally and illegally burned the plantation so that it can be strengthened by finding from FSC in its investigation conducted by the Forest Tree and Plantation Service of Merauke Regency with letter number 5022.2 dated 24 August 2016, which state that this land clearing was carried by mechanically and without burning, despite the fact that Correndo did it on purpose illegally and burned plantations area. 6 years ago, Petrus did something that will change the fate of this clan forever. Before finally fighting for the preservation of the customary forest covering an area of nearly 50,000 hectares belonging on his clan. He's also helped Correndo to expand its oil palm plantation in the Boven de Gaulle area by becoming a coordinator for 10 local residents owns a customary forest which is now converted into the convention area of Correndo subsidiary PC Tunas Sawa Erma. In 2015, customary forest owners from the 10 clans agreed to release their customary forest by receiving compensation for 100,000 rupiah for each hectare of customary forest, which has now become PT Tunasawa Erma Block E, covering an area of 900,000 hectares. The compensation for this price is not commensurate with the size of the customary forest that they have handed over to PT Tunasawa Erma. Correndo confirmed that the agreement for the land was in accordance with Indonesian regulations. In response to the BBC questions, Correndo also explained that it had also paid compensation for 100,000 per hectare each to compensate for trees and land. But of course, this is really made the Papuans loss because the compensation was very disproportionate to the size of the customary land. Potentially evaluate human rights. The presence of police officers who are a part of Correndo's subsidiary in Boven de Gaulle, the chief of the Boven de Gaulle police, AKBP Shamsurizal, explained that this was because oil palm plantations were categorized as vital objects. In May, there were human rights violations committed by the police at the PT. TSE in Boven de Gaulle is the death of resident of Boven de Gaulle, Marius Becerra, due to violence. Correndo reasoned that its oil palm plantations were close to the borders of Papua and Papua New Guinea. So the presence of police officers was needed to maintain security. Because the presence of too many security personnel in the company's area can also have the potential for human rights violation. We can see this from the last few events.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Safri Nova Ramadan, name 205-13147, and I will continue my friend's presentation before. The deliberate fire. Research from forensic architecture based at Goldsmiths University, UK, apply spatial and architectural analysis and advanced research and modeling techniques to investigate environmental destruction. The group studied satellite imagery to reveal land clearing patterns within the PT Dongin Prabawa concession. They then compared the satellite imagery with hotspot data from NASA satellites in the same area and combined the two over the same time period, 2011 to 2016. Here's the resulting damage from Buvendigel, Papua. In addition to being trampled on self-esteem, the first impact of course, is health problems such as ISPA, due to smoke generated from the forest burning process. The biggest impact is that the world will lose a lot of tropical forests, which are a source of oxygen and place to live for many animals. In this case, the government is expected to be able to protect the forests of Papua and Buvendigel and make it a conservation priority for the welfare of the Papuan people themselves. Even if we continue to make forests as investment zone with land conversion, it would be wise if our own country managed them with Indonesia's human resource that are no less powerful, so that we can feel the results for ourselves, not producing prosperity for other countries, but leaving misery in our own country. Of course, the people of Buvendigel, Papua are the ones most affected by the fires of their customary forests. Forests have been a part of their lives since the time of their ancestors. Some tribes even live in the forests of Papua. For example, the Mandobo tribe are now slowly losing their shelter. The compensations that the community received for the grief was also deemed inappropriate, which was also 100,000 rupiah per hectare. Even the people of Buvendigel have to be willing to lose the food source that many live in customary forests, which they can usually get for free, namely sagu trees.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Abran Rosa Fitri. The next discussion, I will convey of Indonesian as the world class. The case of the forest and land fires is really ironic to be one of the biggest losses for Indonesia. Indonesia has long been known as the lungs of the world. Indonesian forest area reached 162 million hectares, and the large forests are in Bali, Nusa Tenggara, Java, Maluku and North Maluku, Sulawesi, Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Papua. Tropical rainforests in Indonesia have a very important role for the world. Tropical rainforests occur in areas with a tropical climate with minimum annual rainfall ranging between 1,750 millimeters and 2,000 millimeters. Meanwhile, the average monthly temperature is above 18 degrees Celsius throughout the year. Next, Indonesia is the owner of the third largest tropical rainforest in the world after Brazil and Congo. The large diversity of flora and fauna in tropical rainforests is very beneficial for the pharmaceutical, handicraft, tourist, and scientific industry. The other benefits are maintaining the function of the water system, absorbing and storing carbon dioxide, a source of water for the needs of living things, slowing global warming, and reducing the impact of climate change. Therefore, it is natural for us to care about forest sustainability. Forest Watch Indonesia also note the forest destruction in Indonesia has continued to increase from year to year and currently has reached 2 million hectares per year. It is currently estimated that the remaining natural forest area is only 28%, and if it is not stopped immediately, the remaining forest will soon be destroyed. The discussion I will convey of the impact of environmental damage. The impact resulting from the damage Besides destroying the local ecosystem, cause flora and fauna to lose their natural habitat. As a result, they will lack shelter and food, so often the animals will move to a safer area. They can go to other forests or the resident are inhabit, inhabited by humans to get food. Forest fires will also cause the forest to be bare. This denuded forest can cause this disaster when there is heavy rain. The floods. One of the functions of roots in trees is to absorb and hold water in the soil and water from rain. Landslide occur because rainwater cannot be held by tree roots, so water will carry soil from higher areas to lower areas. In addition, the loss of trees will make rainwater continue to flow to lower areas, causing flooding. Forest fires also result in reduced source of clean water and drought disaster in the surrounding environment. Plants have the ability to store water reservoir in the soil to keep them alive. Therefore, areas covered by various kinds of the trees and plants are more beautiful and fresh. Well, if there are no trees or plants, then the area will be arid and cost down. The source of clean water in the ground is also reduced so that people around it cannot meet the need for clean water. The next is characteristic of damaged environment. The characteristic of the damaged environment are the residents of the indigenous Papuan people that with the simplest possible customs because they still adhere to their customs which were destroyed by Corindo's illegal burning of Greenpeace forests and denuded oceans that it had violated local communities. In news coverage to the BBC, he admits that he felt guilty and bears the burden of giving up his customary forest and customary forests of other clans which changed the fate of forests forever. Petrus Kingo, head of the Kingo clan from the Mandoba tribe, of defending his customary forest in Jir district of Indigo so that it does not become an oil palm plantation. Walking through their customary forest, Petrus said that sago grows with wild in the forest. The staple food of indigenous Papuans is now slowly being evicted by oil palm plantations. So I took fish, meat, birds, sago for free. I came for sure with my wife and son's Smilings. We were happy to eat. No one has any objection because this is my own customary land, said Petrus while showing the sago garden in his customary forest. The Papuan forest where Petrus lives is one of the remaining rainforests in the world with high biodiversity. More than 60% of Indonesian biodiversity is in Papua. Not far from the customary forest, the expanse of forest has been turned into plots of oil palm plantation. This is one of the impacts of anthropological activities on the economic ecosystem in Papua. Thank you. Health impact on local residents. The impact of forest fires is very dangerous for local populations, the environment, and other living things. Many animals have lost their homes. Damaged ecosystem, rare plants that have been burned to death, which could be extinct before we know the species. In addition, the substances contained in the smoke from forest burning are very dangerous for human health because forest fire smoke contains three main components, namely gas components such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, and others. Soil particles known as particulate matter that fly in the air of fire smoke. Chemicals resulting from combustion such as acetylene, formaldehyde, benzene dioxide, and others. These three components can cause severe and lasting impacts. Long and acute conditions when particles and chemicals contained in a smoke cause direct irritation to the eyes and respiratory tract. Exposure to the eyes may cause eye irritation and watering. Likewise, the air inhaled in the process of breathing contains fire smoke cause direct irritation to the throat and the upper respiratory tracts. This facilitates the occurrence of acute respiratory infections with symptoms of cough and shortness of breath, lung cancer, and is able to aggravate the disease of TB sufferers. Smoke from forest fires also affect the ozone layer. The Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency state the forest and land fire affect the condition of the ozone layer. The smoke from the fires then release organic compounds into the atmosphere, then these compounds will last for a long time and release methane gas, a greenhouse gas that is 21 times more toxic than carbon dioxide, and this compound is harmful to the ozone layer. In addition, from an environmental point of view, it will cause drought during the dry season and cause flooding during the rainy season due to the lack of soil absorption, capacity for water, and the absence of trees to withstand soil erosion so that I will cause landslide. Forests have a very important role for all living beings. Besides being a home for millions of animals and plant species, forests also function to maintain the climate on Earth. Therefore, forests can help us to adapt to climate change because climate change cannot be stopped, it can only be slowed down.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Safir Ramadan, name 205-13147, and I will continue my friend presentation before. Papuan traditional clothes. Papuan traditional clothes for men and women are almost the same in the shape. The traditional clothes wear decorations such as a headdress in the form of bird paradise, bracelets, necklace, and belt made of beads, as well as tassels on the ankles. Papua traditional house. The name of the original Papuan house is Honai, which is a typical native Papuan house inhabited by the Dani tribe. The material for making Honai house is made of wood with conical roof made of straw or thatch. Traditional Honai houses have small doors and no windows. Honai houses generally consist of 2 floors consisting of the first floor for beds, while the second floor is used a place to relax, eat, and do handicraft. That's all our presentations, and This is the end of this case. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.